Yes, the Honda Prelude is back. And I'll be honest, I wanted to love this thing immediately because, come on, it's a Prelude. It's the car I grew up with. The name means something, doesn't it? It means style, Honda engineering, two doors, a little bit of attitude, and hopefully something that makes you want to take the long way home. But this 2026 is not exactly what a lot of old school Honda fans were probably expecting. It's not a manual, it's not turbocharged, it's not a Civic Type R coupe, and it's definitely not trying to be a budget sports car. So after spending time with it, the question is pretty simple. Is a new Prelude actually fun, or is Honda just using a legendary name on a very stylish hybrid? Now before we get into this, make sure you subscribe to Dave Drives, and if the Prelude or any new car is on your shopping list, even used ones, don't just look at the MSRP. Drive it. Compare real dealer pricing in your zip code by visiting quotes.everymandriver.com first. It's a free search engine. It's all based on your zip code, so if you don't find what you're looking for in your zip code, change it around. The better deal might be one town over. There's also a direct link below. All right away, the Prelude has presence, right? It sits low, it's wide, it has that clean coupe shape that we honestly just don't see very often anymore. In a world full of crossovers that all look like they were designed by the same person in the same conference room, the Prelude feels refreshing. It's not loud, it's not angry, it's not trying to cosplay as a race car, it's smoother than that. This is more of a grown-up sporty coupe, the kind of car that says, I still like driving, but I also have a lower back, insurance payments, and maybe a Costco membership, so that's the vibe. Now, under the skin, this is a hybrid. Honda says it makes around 200 total system horsepower, and it uses a two-motor hybrid setup with a direct drive unit. It's front-wheel drive. Now, does that bother you? And on paper, that may not sound like the recipe for an emotional comeback car, but here's where the Prelude gets a little more interesting. Honda gave it some serious chassis hardware, adaptive dampers, dual-axis front suspension, variable ratio steering, and Brembo 4-piston front brake calipers. So while the powertrain is efficient and pretty civilized, the car itself feels more buttoned down than you might expect. The steering is quick, the front end feels pretty sharp, the ride has that nice Honda balance where it feels sporty but it's not punishing you for driving on normal roads. And that matters because most of us are not attacking a canyon road every morning. Most of us are not. We're driving to work, running errands, dropping the kids off, dodging potholes, depends on what city you live in, and trying not to spill your coffee. In that world, the Prelude makes a lot more sense. Now, we have to talk about the Honda S Plus shift. This is probably going to be the most controversial part of the car. This is designed to simulate the feel, sound, and response of a traditional performance transmission, even though this is a hybrid with a direct drive setup. Honda says it works with the paddle shifters and drive modes to make the car feel more engaging. And look, some people are going to hate this option just on principle alone. They're going to say, fake shifts, fake sound, no manual, what are we doing here? I get it, but from a Dave Drives perspective, I'm less offended by it than I thought it might be, because the goal here is not to trick you into thinking you're driving an old school Prelude with a 5-speed. The goal is to add some interaction to a hybrid powertrain that otherwise could feel too smooth for its own good. Is it authentic? Not really. Is it more entertaining than just silent hybrid acceleration? I think so. And that's the weird part. I expected to roll my eyes at it. Instead, I kind of understood why Honda did this. Now, what surprised me most is that the Prelude doesn't feel like a sports car trying to be practical. It feels like a practical car trying to bring back a little style, a little fun. And I don't think that's a bad deal. The fuel economy is a huge part of the appeal. Honda rates it at 46 city, 41 highway, so combined 44 miles per gallon, which is not something you usually say in the same sentence as sport coupe. And that's the angle here. This is not a car for someone cross-shopping a GR86 and saying to themselves, I need the purest driving experience possible. This is for the person who wants something that looks cool, feels special, handles well, gets great mileage, and doesn't require them to explain to their spouses why they bought something completely useless. That's the lane the Prelude is in. And honestly, it may be a smarter lane than the internet wants to admit. If you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. Now, here's my issue, and that is the price. Honda Prelude Hybrid starts at $42,000, and the two-tone version, $42,500. Not a big deal. I know it's not cheap, and once you cross 40 grand, people start getting picky. They start comparing everything. They compare it to the cheaper fun cars. They compare it to the quicker cars. They'll compare it to the used performance cars. They might even compare it to a Civic Type R sitting elsewhere in the Honda lineup. And that's why I think the Prelude has to fight for its identity, especially in 2026. Because if you're buying strictly on horsepower per dollar, it's probably not your car. If you're buying strictly for maximum driving engagement, this probably isn't your car. And if you were hoping Honda would bring back the Prelude as a manual, high-revving, old-school coupe, this is going to sting. But if you judge it as a stylish, hybrid, grand touring coupe, the whole thing starts to make a lot more sense. So inside, yep, the Prelude, very Honda, and I mean that as a compliment. You get a clean layout, the 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster, 9-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Google built-in, wireless charging, a Bose premium audio system. So it's not trying to reinvent the dashboard, thank goodness. And the front seats are sporty, supportive, and Honda says this is a 4-passenger coupe with a 60-40 split folding rear seat. I don't think adults are sitting back there. Let's not get silly here. Barely enough room for my 2 kids. This is still a 2-door coupe, really, basically. But the hatchback design helps. Honda clearly wants this to be more usable than a traditional trunk, and that matters if you're actually thinking about some daily driving. Could I run errands in it? Yes. Could I commute in it? Yes. Could I road trip in it with one other person and some bags? I think it's probably where this car makes the most sense. But again, for 4 adults, don't even think about it. So would I daily drive it? Yes, but with one condition, a big condition. I would have to be okay with what this car actually is. Not what I wanted the Prelude name to be. Not what the internet, what some of you wanted it to be. And not what the old Honda fan in my brain wants it to be. I want it for what it actually is. A stylish, efficient, comfortable, surprisingly engaging hybrid coupe with just enough personality to stand apart from the crossover crowd. It's not the wild comeback that some people had hoped for a few months back, but it might be the more realistic comeback Honda could actually sell. And that's kind of the story here. The new Prelude isn't trying to be the fastest car in the parking lot. It's trying to make everyday driving feel less boring. And honestly, I respect that. Before you decide if the Prelude belongs in your driveway, check real pricing in your zip code at quotes.everymandriver.com. I can tell you what it's like to drive, but you need to compare prices in your area. It's good for new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. There's also a link below. So, did Honda get the new Prelude right, or should they have made it a manual gas-powered coupe? Let me know in the comments, because I already know this one's going to get a lot of people fired up. As always, thanks for watching Dave Drives. We'll see you next time. Adios. One final note, if you are in the market for a new vehicle soon, great. Connect with your local dealership and price and test drive at least 3 different vehicles. A vehicle's strengths and weaknesses can only be discovered when you are behind the wheel. My reviews can be good, but you need to test drive these yourself. Visit quotes.everymandriver.com, select the make, model, and your zip code, and you'll get invoice pricing in your area on those vehicles. Shop smarter with price quotes at quotes.everymandriver.com.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.